Hello and welcome to our virtual yoga class. My name is Vanessa and I'm here to support you for the rest of the class. We will begin by laying on our backs, noticing that as we transition, we are beginning to shift our attention to our practice, inhaling and exhaling, gathering our breath. And then I'll be emphasizing the breath continuously. Our breath is our focusing tool as we bridge our physical, mental, emotional bodies, as we're exploring the poses, their strength, their flexibility, their balance. So first, we'll gather our breath here in the beginning of class, laying on our backs. Our hands can rest on our chest, our belly. You can also drop your hands to frame your hips, palms up towards the ceiling. Now, I recommend taking your hands to your chest and belly, therefore you'll notice the rise and fall of your chest. You'll notice where your breath is shallow, where your breath can become more full. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale, perhaps exhaling side out. Start to notice the point where your body touches the mat. Through the back of your head, all the way down to your heels. Notice here. And I recommend exhaling, sighing out, releasing that tension from earlier in the day, from a week ago, a month and a half ago. Inhale, exhale, release. So we're cultivating this inner spaciousness and stillness, and that stillness is always there, available to you. So what we're doing is cultivating the ability to shift our attention into this generative spaciousness, stillness we have in our bodies. We'll revisit this throughout the class. Breathe into that spaciousness, inhaling, exhaling, sighing out. You're purposely releasing your to-do lists for the day, for the rest of the week. You're practicing arriving to this moment. By no means are you trying to delete your thoughts or not have them. That's natural. Have your thoughts. You're just creating some more space between you and your thoughts, and more actively aware of how your body is informing you in this moment. So we'll take another 3 breaths, inhaling, exhaling. Optional if you prefer to exhale, sigh out. And then start to shift into a full body stretch, pointing your toes, lifting your arms up overhead, interlacing your fingers. Now you're purposely lifting your abdomen up towards the ceiling. That's going to release some compression in your lower back. Make sure you're expanding those elbows, opening the palms. You can even rotate your ankles here. Waking up the body, noticing what's tense, what's sore, what feels open, where you might want to place your attention for the rest of the class. Practice that noticing. Another breath or 2 here. And then start to bend your right knee, feet flipped off the floor. Grab your knee with your hands around your spine, forehead towards your knee, hold, chin towards chest, and then drop your head up. 2 more times, round your spine. So you want to get that full rounding of the spine. And after that third round, release your head. You're gonna bend your knee, rest your ankle or your shin on top of your left thigh. Use your hands to press your thigh away from you. And after a breath there, release your hands, weave your right hand between your legs, interlace your fingers behind that left thigh, breathe into your hip. Bring your thigh closer towards you for a more intense stretch. Soften neck and head. Inhale. And then exhale, release. Keep that left knee bent. You're gonna grab that left knee with your hands, round your spine, forehead towards your knee, and drop your head back. 2 more times, finding that full rounding of the spine. And then after that third round, bend that right knee, rest your left ankle, shin on top of your thigh. Weave your left hand between your legs, interlace your fingers right behind that right thigh, breathe into your left hip. You can hang in here or apply some gentle pressure against your thigh, bring your thigh closer towards you. Now that can be a very subtle shift. Inhale. And exhale, release. Both feet float off the floor, hands on knees, round your spine, forehead towards your knee. And then release, start to lengthen. Both legs out in front of you. We're gonna flex our feet, lengthen our spine. We tend to cave or roll our shoulders forward or our chest caves forward. So very purposely lengthening the spine, drawing our shoulders down. We're gonna flex our feet, activating a stretcher in the calf muscles. Hold. And then you can soften your feet and then fold, dropping your belly towards your thigh. Now, if you want a more intense stretch, you can keep your feet flexed. Hands can reach thighs, shins, or toes. Hold. Breathing into your hamstrings. We tend to be very tight around the hamstrings. So take deep belly breaths, not shallow breaths. Use your breath to assist you in working with your flexibility here. You're going to notice where your boundary is and see how can you fold a little bit more deep with your breath. Inhale, exhale, and release. We'll shift into our tabletop, making sure our hands are right beneath our shoulders and knees are hips width distance apart. Now, notice your spine here, the length of your back, and inhale, lift your tailbone purposely here. Open up your chest, press through your palms. And then tuck that tailbone in as you shift into a cat pose, chin towards chest. And a few times here at your own pace. Now, when I mean at your own pace, you can either sync up your breath, going to create more of a flow when you're syncing up an inhale cow pose, exhale cat pose. However, you can also explore a pose for an extra breath cycle 2 or 3. So it's all right to exhale into a cow pose. It's all right to inhale into a cat pose. Do place attention to your neck, upper back, down the length of your spine to your lower back. Shift into a neutral tabletop. Lift your right leg, bend your knee, and then stack your hips. So the more you bend your knee, the more you'll activate a stretch around the quad. You're opening throughout the lower back as well, strengthening around the glute, opening around the hip. Hold. Release. Opposite side, lift your left leg, bend your knees, stack your hips. Inhale. Exhale, release, lift up. We're going to shift into a forward fold, lengthening our legs. Please let your head dangle here. Cup your elbows with your hands and rock to the left and to the right. You'll activate a stretch around the hamstrings and hips. It's only going to work though, completely relax your torso. Sway towards the left and towards the right. And then release, we're gonna roll up slowly, head comes up last, arms dangle. It's a good practice of letting go, slowing down. Let's take a moment here in our mountain pose, hands in front of our heart center, or hands framing our hips. So either expression here in your mountain pose, and either keep a gaze steady, straight ahead of you, or eyes closed. Inhale, exhale. You're noticing the inner stillness and spaciousness you're cultivating. Some of the more difficult parts of yoga is just being still. Inhale. Exhale. We'll prepare for 3 sun salutations. You can drop your hands and then sync up an inhale here. On an inhale, you're lifting your arms up overhead, extending the spine, opening the chest. On an exhale, ideally, you're folding down. Soften neck and head. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, release, step back into a plank pose. Release down towards the floor. Inhale up, upward facing dog. And then exhale into your down dog. Inhale. Exhale. Take your gaze between your hands. Walk or jump up to that forward fold. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, release and sweep our arms up overhead. Hands in front of your heart center. Inhale, exhale. Release your hands, arms lift. Exhale, bend your knees, fold down, forward fold. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, release, step back, plank pose. Release down towards the floor. Inhale, up. Upward facing dog. Exhale, down dog. Generous breath. Inhale, exhale. Take your gaze right between your hands. Walk or jump up. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, release, sweep your arms up overhead. Gathering the energy of the day, integrating it down to our heart center as we inhale, exhale. Release your hands. Inhale, arms lift. Exhale, fold down. Forward fold. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, release, step back, plank pose. Release down towards the floor. We're gonna inhale up, upward facing dog, and then exhale, down dog. Once in your down dog, lift your left leg, bend your left knee, stack your hips and fold. And release your foot back down towards the floor. Lift your right leg, bend your knees, stack your hips. Release your foot back down towards the floor. Deep belly breath. And then release your knees down towards the floor. Shift into a child's pose. Lengthen your inhale and your exhale. If you want some more support in your concentration, just lengthen your inhale and exhale a little longer than you're accustomed to. At any point, inhaling here, exhaling, sighing out. Soften neck, shoulders, hips. Three more intentional breaths here in this child's pose. And after those three breaths, release your child's pose. Shift into a downward facing dog, and then from your down dog into your forward fold. Your choice, you can roll up slowly or sweep your arms up overhead, make an intentional practice in how you lift to standing, whatever is balancing for you. Same thing with your mountain pose, being intentional with hands in front of your heart center or hands framing your hips. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale, third breath. Inhale. Exhale. Start to release your mountain pose. Lengthen your stance so you shift into a wide-legged forward fold. Now we're going to hinge from the hips. Take your hands to your hips. We're going to fold halfway and then hold. Fold here. Breathe into your hamstrings, the backs of your legs, and then fold down. Now you can drop your hands to the mat. You can cup your elbows with your hands. You can grip your toes with your fingers. Please be mindful of two things: softening your neck head and inviting a little bend to your knees. Drop your belly towards the floor. Breathe into the backs of your legs. Feel free to hear your inhale and hear your exhale. Two more breaths.
And now take your hands to your hips. Lift halfway and then all the way up. Now shift your right toe to the right, left toe to the left, bend your knees, drop your tailbone. Hands in front of your heart center, lift your arms. Keep your gaze steady, you're grounded here. Glutes and quads are active, notice your core strength. Steady gaze is a steady mind. Deep belly breath. After another breath here, release, toes towards the front. Once again, wide-legged forward fold. This time, you can invite an upper body stretch by interlacing your fingers. Palms can touch or not. Now, very purposely extending my elbows, drawing my shoulder blades closer together. That's a very purposeful act on my end. And then I fold halfway, hinging at the hips, taking a moment here to breathe into my hamstrings, and then I fold all the way down, keeping my elbows extended behind me. Now you can drop your hands towards the mat or floor that most supports you right now. So you do have that option. Inhale. Exhale, release your hands. Lift halfway or all the way up. And all the way up. And then bring your feet closer together. Chair pose, bend your knees, arms shoot out and hold. Steady gaze. Lift your tailbone. Notice your heels and toes grounded on the floor. Bend your knees further, dive down, forward fold, soften neck and head. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, release. You can take your vinyasa or go straight to a downward facing dog. In your down dog, lift your left leg, bend your knees, stack your hips, hold. You're bringing your chest closer towards that right thigh, pressing through your palms, and then release. Opposite side, lift your right leg, bend your knees, stack your hips. Release your foot back down towards the floor. Drop your knees onto the mat. Shift down into a child's pose. Gather your breath. See if you can imagine a full body breath, breathing in through the pores of your skin and exhaling through the pores of your skin. This supports visualizing a more holistic yoga practice. Full body breath. Arriving to this moment. Continuously throughout the class. And then once you've taken another generous breath or two, shift into your tabletop. Hands beneath your shoulders, knees, hips with distance apart. Balance here. Let's lift our left leg. It's parallel to the floor and lift our right arm. Imagine a cord lifting your core up towards the ceiling. Try not to collapse your left leg, right arm. And release. And our opposite side, lift your right leg, lift your left arm. Activate that core strength. Steady arm, steady leg, and release. Take a cow and cat pose, taking care of our spine here. And then release. Let's shift into a cross-legged position, noticing that as we shift into a cross-legged, we tend to have one leg that's more forward. Switch it out in an effort of balance. We tend to favor different sides of our body or use parts of our bodies more. So in an effort of balance, switch that leg out. Lengthen your spine. You're grounding your sit bones onto the mat. Those are the bones near your glutes. Draw your shoulders down, steady gaze. Let's inhale here, exhale, side out. Drop your chin towards your chest. Roll your head from one shoulder to the next. Release any culminated tension there in the sides of the neck, upper back, shoulders. Move quickly or slowly, a full circle or just half a circle. Two or three more breaths here. And then we'll bring our head back to a neutral position. Grounding breath. Inhale here, exhale, side out. And now let's take our left hand over towards our right knee. Twist towards the right. Hold here. Your chin shifts towards that right shoulder. And release. Opposite side. Opposite hand on your knee. Twist towards the left. And then back to center. Shoulders up towards your ears, draw them down. Lift them up towards your ears, draw them down. And then release. Inhale, lift your arms up. Palms up towards the ceiling. Round your spine, tuck your chin towards your chest. Palms down towards the front. Release your hands, lengthen your spine, draw your shoulders down. We're gonna go ahead and lengthen our legs out. Palms up towards the ceiling, chin towards your chest. Slowly start to roll down. Hover here, legs can float off the floor. Core strength, chin towards chest. There's upper back strength here as well. And now drop your feet, drop your head. Let's inhale here, exhale. Noticing that inner stillness and spaciousness you've been cultivating throughout the class. Bend both knees, both soles of the feet touch. Hands can remain framing your hips, palms up towards the ceiling. You can rest your hands on your belly, your chest. You can lift your arms up overhead, backs of the hands on the mat, palms towards the ceiling. Remain here a few breaths. Reacquaint yourself with your deep belly breath. That's the breath where your belly can fully expand. There's no constriction. This is the breath you can go back to at any time throughout your day. Do practice softening here, letting go.
Surprising that though you're supported here by the ground, we'll still hold on to tension on our body. So scan neck down the spine, especially around the hips, down to your feet lightly touch. And notice where can you soften and relax a little bit more. And see if we can apply this physical sensation, not just in the physical body, but the mental and emotional body as well. Go back to your breath, the bridge of the physical, mental, emotional body. Three more breaths here in our butterfly pose. And after three more breaths, release your butterfly pose, shift into your Shavasana, making any adjustments you need here to feel fully comfortable. You can always even bring a blanket. Notice that this is a purposeful pose of doing nothing. In this pose, we integrate our practice, letting go and receiving, honoring that stillness and spaciousness cultivated throughout the class. It's a pose that teaches us the wisdom of being still, of doing very little. And in a culture where we are, in a culture that emphasizes a lot of doing, it's helpful to balance that out with a little bit of just being and sensing. Neither doing or being is better than the other. We're just seeking balance. Inhale and exhale. Soften your forehead and jaw, neck, shoulders, down the length of your spine, releasing the upper back, mid back, lower back, to your hips, behind your knees, down to your ankles and toes. And we'll start to shift our attention back to our breath. Inviting a generous inhale and exhale. Notice that leisurely breath. Bring attention to your fingertips and toes. Feel free to invite a full body stretch, lifting your arms up overhead or turning your body to the left or to the right. Once again, returning to a generous and a leisurely breath. There is no rush. Our sense of time slows down. Notice that inner stillness and spaciousness you cultivated throughout the class. And after another breath or two, start to make your way up to your seat. In a comfortable seated position, transitioning slowly here, still placing attention to your breath, checking in with your body. And then as we're seated here, let's take a moment to reflect that as we self-care, we're much more able to assist our personal needs and those needs of others. And we self-care by returning to our bodies, welcoming our bodies through our breath, and working on our physical, mental, emotional body. So on that note, with gratitude, we take our hands in front of our heart center. Let's inhale here and exhale. And in the tradition of yoga, the highest in me sees the highest in you. May we walk with each other in gratitude.